Hey everyone, Bryn Brown here. Super excited to share this quick on-demand training with you called Get Booked, 3 easy ways to fill your calendar with high quality leads. I know this was supposed to be a live training originally, and that didn't work out. So I'm excited to finally get this out to you. Also to give you the opportunity to watch this on your own terms, on your own schedule, and take the notes that you need to take and kind of revisit as needed. There's a lot of really great information that's going to be included. So you're going to want to make sure that you do have the opportunity to take some notes and kind of think through how we can apply each of these 3 easy ways to fill your calendar that in a way that's going to work for you and feel good for you. So let's dive in. Just in case you're new to my audience, I'm always growing my audience, and we're going to talk about that in the training today. So I'm constantly having new people come in. So if you're new, welcome. If you've been around for a while, so good to see you again. If you are new though, I just want to make sure that we're super clear. This is a training for people with service-based businesses. I don't do a lot of product sales training in terms of general trainings that I offer. That's something that I don't specialize in anymore. I have a lot of experience in product sales, but what we're talking about today is really tailored for service providers, in particular soul-led service providers, people who are doing their craft, they're doing what they love to do because they love to do it and they really genuinely want to help people. So if that's you, you're in the right place. If you're just starting out and you're trying to figure out where to focus to get consistent results, you're maybe aiming for those consistent 5K plus months, this is going to be a great training for you. If you're a little bit beyond that, maybe you have consistency in your business, but you're looking to really tighten up and solidify your foundational business growth skill set, this is also going to be good for you. So it's not, if you're making more than 5K a month, this can still be tremendously valuable. If you are also in a situation where you are maybe launching a new product or program and you want to fill that and fill it quickly in the next 6 to 8 weeks or so, gain momentum for the rest of the year, this is going to be a really good training for you as well. And finally, I'd say, if you want to focus on foundational business growth strategies for a little while, just to tighten things up, this is also a good place to be. So a solid foundation is going to be what will allow you to scale, to grow and scale the quickest. All right. So just an overview, what we're going to be talking about today, we're talking about referrals, social media, and building your audience by establishing yourself as an expert in your field. So we'll deep dive into each of those, but I threw in a little bonus training here, which is more of a state of the union, if you will, in terms of online business and promoting online, marketing online, and kind of what's been going on, these industry updates. So I want to give you some insight into what's working and what's not working so that as you listen to the remainder of the training, we're thinking about ways that we can be strategic in our business, but also ways that are going to work for you and not just sort of reiterating what everybody else is saying out there for the sake of saying the same things, right? If you are new here, I'm Bryn Brown. So nice to meet you and good to see everybody who is returning. Just really quickly about me so you know who I am. I'm really all about my family, having time for my family and having time for myself. I'm part-time on purpose in my business. So family first. I'm a beach bum at heart, though we do live in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado here in the US. I'm a lifelong student. I love studying all things personal development, metaphysical, and also business. My brain just works in a strategic kind of way. I've been in sales for over 20 years, I think 25 years now. It was completely by accident, but that's my professional background, and it's something that I do every day. And so I call myself a business strategist and a creative guide. Really, I'm a human design junkie. So anyone who knows me knows that I'm really big into human design, and my gifts really lie in this ability to, I say, you hold the vision for the forest, and I help people put in the trees and the shrubs and the critters that help it thrive and provide a healthy ecosystem. So that's my skill set. And we do that by getting really creative and tapping into creativity together, but also rooting that in concrete strategies. So that's me, what I'm all about. And I think you're going to hear a lot of that blend of the woo-woo with the strategy. So my invitation to you as we get going is to dedicate this time to yourself, whether you're watching this in 5 or 10 minute chunks, or you're watching it all in one go. Take the time to really tune into yourself and tune into your business to see what's going to work best for you. Okay. So what we are energetically leaving behind, or are these feelings of overwhelm and analysis paralysis. I know that can get in the way of a lot of entrepreneurs, feeling disorganized and scattered, especially when you're either just starting out or you feel like things have been working, but it's just taking more effort than it should. So then you start to feel disorganized, you feel scattered, like, where should I put my focus? We're going to leave all of that behind. And also for the sake of maybe the next 6 to 8 weeks, my invitation here is to set aside all the noise, right? And try the idea that we need to try all these different things and just hoping somebody books you or hoping the numbers get there. What we're going to do is get really concise in 3 different ways and make the push. So that's my invitation to you, is to really just figure out the way that you're going to implement each of these 3 tips and do it, with you infused, your soul infused into those strategies. And then focus on those without getting into this sort of overwhelm of bright, shiny object syndrome. Okay. So moving forward with a concrete plan with clear action steps, we are intending on having a calendar full of leads who already know they want you to help them. And this is going to bring about consistent, reliable income. And it's not going to require you do a whole lot more than the things you absolutely love to do. But the key here is consistency. So no more popcorn sales, as I call it, where it's just here and there. Okay. So let's start with this sort of state of the union. What's going on in 2024? What is online business and online marketing looking like these days? And I think this is really important to focus on because it's going to influence the way that I've actually run this training many times in the past. So a lot of the tips are the same, however, or the overall general strategies are the same. However, what we're doing is really shifting into what is working and leaving behind what's not working. So what is not working? As a consumer, sit in that seat for a minute, put on your buyer's hat, put on your consumer hat where you're being marketed to all the time. And I know as a business owner, you are 100% being marketed to all the time because I feel it too. You log in to any of your social accounts and you're getting DMs, you're getting people in your feed, you're getting connection requests, and everybody wants to sell to you. Okay. You know what that feels like. I know what that feels like. So what's not working in 2024? See-through marketing tactics. Okay. So I just logged into my Facebook actually just before this training. I logged into my Facebook and I saw somebody who had added me as a friend request, and then they liked a whole bunch of my photos. So my notifications, right? So it's like they added me, I see the friend request, and then they liked all of these photos and maybe commented and said, oh, I sent you a DM and now I have a DM, a new unread message. These marketing strategies, that's not the only one, but the whole trend in online marketing, right? All these sales trends, we all see through them. Okay. So any of these see-through marketing tactics that are formulaic, that, oh, that's a copy and paste DM. Oh, that's, somebody is out there teaching everybody to do that. Those are not working anymore. And I know you know that because you're on the receiving end of that, right? High pressure sales. And this is good news, right? These are all good news because none of us want to be doing this anyway. High pressure sales, people that are coming in hot, that are, oh, I saw you saw this. I know that you saw this, and they're sending you messages or sending you emails, or they're, pressuring you to get on a call. How many times did they send you a message saying, do you want to book a call, or whatever the sales funnel includes? That is not working anymore either. Vanity metrics, they don't work. Okay. So what do I mean by vanity metrics? This is quantity over quality. This is getting the pods of people to like and engage and comment on certain posts so that it boosts in the algorithm. And then it looks like you have a lot of engagement when you don't really have true high quality people engaged. Okay. They're not actually customers or community members. They are just vanity metrics. Okay. Lots of people like it. You did the TikTok dance to get the one video to go viral, but that's not really bringing you any real visibility to your business or money in the bank. Let's be honest. Selling out of integrity or for the sake of making money. So I am speaking to you as a soul-led entrepreneur, someone who wants to express their soul's desire, right? It's like your soul expression through your business, through your craft, which happens to be your business. So when you're doing that and you're operating in integrity with yourself, everything starts to flow. However, when you're out of integrity and we're doing these gimmicks of, there's FOMO, creating a sense of urgency when there isn't really there is no urgency to buy something, offering discounts, making things up to make it seem like you're almost sold out. Or you're coming at it from a place of just wanting to make money. I'm just going to put together this high ticket coaching program because I want to make a lot of money. And that's what people can sell for $5,000 or $10,000, right? Those things are not working because we're feeling all of this. So anytime there's an energetic mismatch, it's not necessarily going to work. It might work in the short term. It might work for those popcorn sales every now and again. It's not necessarily going when you're operating in this capacity, you might get good quality leads, but you're more than likely not going to be attracting your dream clients. Okay. So that's what's not working. And I'm sure that you're feeling it as well, because again, we're all sitting in the buyer seat, in the consumer seat, just as much as we are sitting in our business and marketing seat, right? So what's working in 2024 and beyond? So I have a lot to say about this in terms of through the lens of human design, and there's a shift that's happening that officially happens in 2027, but we're already feeling it. I'm not going to go too much into that, but what I will share here today are the things that are working in this age where we're moving into an era of AI and things being automated and, dare I say, robotic, right? Like people using AI to create copy. Now, there's a difference between using those things strategically to help you create, but what is going to be working is that real, genuine human connection. Okay. We have all had this pendulum swing from going through the pandemic where it was like we were all isolated and we were in our bubbles and we were reaching out for connections online. And then there was a huge explosion where more people came online than ever. And then we sort of all went offline in 2022, 2023, mostly, where people were starting to travel again and they were back in person and they were really enjoying that experience. And now there's a recalibration. So when people come online and they're looking at your programs or meeting you from a distance, really that genuine human connection. I really dislike the word authenticity because I think it's overused and it's not used properly in a lot of places. However, that's what we're looking for. Radical honesty and authenticity infused into your program. So this is not putting it all together because some formula said, or some coach or some guru said this is the magic way to make a lot of money. It's really looking at looking at your client, your dream client, and putting together something for them rather than something for you, something that is going to serve them, right? So when you do that, you infuse this energy of you into your program, you in your most authentic, genuine form, and your most pure desire to support them and to help them, okay? That sells, I'll tell you that. Aligned pricing and sales tactics. So again, and I'm just throwing out examples because I know we have all had the icky DMs. And so it's such an easy example to use, but aligned pricing and sales tactics. And listen, I'm guilty of these things. So if you're doing any of these things, I don't want you to feel like I'm blasting you, right? Any of the things that aren't working. I don't want you to feel like I'm putting you on blast. What I am doing is just highlighting the need to really be doing things in a more aligned way in general. Again, I've done these things. So don't feel bad if I say something that you have done or you are doing. Aligned pricing. So using an angel number just because that seems to be the trend. I've totally done this, right? But it's, the course is 111 or get this for 333 or whatever that is, just because it feels trendy, because it feels like something that other people are doing or you've seen it modeled. Now, if it feels right, genuinely right, then that is authenticity, right? That's you being radically honest and you infusing yourself and your gifts into your program. However, if we're just doing it to be trendy, that's not going to work. Okay. So what is working are really getting very honest about the pricing and it matching the value, as well as aligned sales tactics. Okay, what do I mean by that? If you feel like DMing people is really just a way that you can connect genuinely with people, great. If you're DMing people with a copy and paste message that is so impersonal, right? That's not aligned. So that's not a sales tactic that is going to work. So what is working? So whatever feels really good for you. Okay. We're going to talk about this and how to implement that, what that actually looks like. So just bear with me. Genuine connection in person and online, that's working, right? Meeting people in person, if that's your thing, go for it. And doing client work in person, if that's your thing, go for it. But genuine connections, even online, can be a little bit tricky, right? Because everyone's got their front and we can also feel that, right? When someone's coming and pretending that they're so successful and things are all working when they're not or whatever, you can feel that, right? So showing up as your true self. Meeting different learning styles. This is actually something that is really important, yet it is a little bit nuanced in terms of the way that it comes across. So it's not an overt marketing strategy necessarily, but meeting different learning styles, knowing that when you offer a program, you understand that some people are going to want to listen to audio. Some people need video. Some people need tutorials. And you're creating things in terms of both marketing and your programs to meet other people's learning styles, right? This concept of being neurotypical is dissolving, right? And neurodiversity is what we're all realizing, that everybody's different. So being able to meet people with different learning styles through your programs and through your marketing is super effective in 2024 and will continue to be very effective moving forward. An energetic flow. So what do I mean by that? Energetic flow, what's working in 2024 is just being in flow. So this is where you're really enjoying the marketing strategies that you're implementing, and you're really enjoying the way that you're working with people and the way that you're putting together your programs so that you can just show up in the fullest expression of yourself rather than doing it based on the cookie cutter models that we've been taught for years and years and years. So being in flow and creating from a place of flow and serving from a place of flow, that is in 2024. Okay. So hopefully that's all making sense. And what I want to do is just bring this energy of what it feels like, right? If we can just kind of step in to that place where you're in a business that you've created that you absolutely love and it's working really well, and you really only have to do things that you enjoy doing. That being said, I know we all have things in our business that we don't necessarily love doing, but they move things forward. I'm not talking about those admin things that have to get done. I'm talking about the bigger strategies. Okay. So really being able to focus on strategies that you truly, truly enjoy. So let's bring that good energy into your lead generating activities and take it with us as we talk about these 3 tips. So with each one, what I want for you to do is to think about your own personal nature and how you best operate and how you would roll this out, not in a cookie cutter fashion, but what makes sense most for you and what would be most fun for you. So we're going to talk about referrals first. I love teaching referral marketing to anyone and everyone because it is the most, hands down, the most effective way to bring in high quality leads. The reason is that people are 4 times more likely to buy from you if they've been referred, because there's an inherent trust factor that's really high. So if someone is referring you to somebody else, you take that trust factor that the person has in you, and you carry it with you into that conversation with somebody that you're meeting that you're potentially going to buy from. So it's the best way to land clients. It's the fastest way to land clients. And arguably it's the easiest way because somebody else is doing the marketing for you. And so I encourage all people to have a referral system in place in some capacity. This works for any energy type. So again, if you don't know human design, don't worry so much about it, other than just know that this can work for you no matter what your aura type is. But this does work for any energy type. We can customize it based on your specific human design chart and chart aspects, but we won't get into that today. Just know This works for everybody. So I want you to think about referrals. It's not just about who do you know who could maybe be a great client. And that's where often people limit themselves, is they're thinking, okay, well, who do I know that could be a client? It's really, who do you know? Who do they know? Who do they know? So if you think about your entire sphere, who do they know? Now, I'm going to talk to you and share with you the 5 buckets of people that I sort of categorize and think about asking. And what I typically do with clients is have them make a list of 5 to 10 people per bucket that they can reach out to for referrals. So that's a really simple way to implement a referral method. So we're going to talk about those 5 buckets, but what I want you to think about is, for you specifically, how would you go about approaching these people? Are you the kind of person that wants to have an in-person conversation or a phone conversation? Are you the kind of person that would do this via text or DMs or email? Is this something that you want to put out in a broader capacity? So maybe it's an actual referral program that you have implemented into another program. So there are a lot of ways to ask people for referrals, and it really just depends on your own personal style. So again, I want you infusing your self, right? Your soul essence into the way that you ask people for referrals. So 5 great sort of buckets of people. One is going to be your ideal client. So yeah, I know I just said it's about who they know. So who do they know that they could refer to you? And if somebody is going to be a really great client, it's low hanging fruit, right? Like if they're an ideal client, you may as well at least extend the opportunity to have an experience of what it's like to work with you, or to have a consultation, or to whatever your first step of your funnel is. You want to always reach out to those people who could potentially be an ideal client, or you view as an ideal client, to at least give them that opportunity. Okay. Now, okay, so people that were thinking, okay, who can actually refer to us? Oh, by the way, I want to say about ideal clients, when you reach out to an ideal client, there's a good chance that they know other people. Like attracts like. So they're going to know other people who are in the similar situations as them. And so if you go to them and you ask them who they know, it gives them the opportunity to raise their hand and say, actually, I would really like this, or I really need this, without you don't have to necessarily point out, oh, I see you're having trouble with this thing. Right? But you can say, hey, I help people with this specific thing. Do you happen to know anybody? And then again, it gives them that opportunity to raise their hand and say, yes, it's me. I want some help with this. The second bucket of people I would encourage you to reach out to, or to make a list of people to reach out, are current and former clients. So they're already getting this amazing experience with you. So they're the perfect people, especially, and here's your pro tip, when they have a win, you want to sort of capitalize on that. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but when they're on a win, it's like they're going to be telling people about this win anyway. So you might as well capitalize on it and ask them if they know anybody. So have it in your system, right? That when they have a big win and you're celebrating with them, that you're asking them for referrals at that time. Also put it in your system when they're completing a program with you, for example. That could be a great time to ask, who do they know? Or maybe when they just sign up. So current and former clients are going to be huge champions. All right. Speaking of huge champions, family and friends, a lot of people, most of my clients, I would say probably 90% of my clients, when they come to me and we work on a referral campaign, they actually want to skip over friends and family because it feels too vulnerable. It feels too like, oh, I'm admitting that I don't have a full client load. I'm admitting that I'm not successful. But actually, arguably, your friends and family are going to champion for you more than anybody else on this list. So give them the opportunity, so long as you don't have stuff with them, if there's no drama, use your discernment when you think about which friends and family members you're going to be going to. So it doesn't have to be all of them, but think about 5 or 10 friends and family members that you can maybe ask, who do you know? Power partner. So power partner is somebody who serves a similar audience as you, but in a different capacity. So it's always great for you to be aware of who's sort of in the same space in terms of they're teaching the same audience, but it's almost collaborative, right? We're thinking about collaborations here. So power partners are really great, powerful partners to have, because this gives you access to their audience and to their sphere, right? And again, like attracts like. So if you're attracting similar audience but serving in a different way, it could really help them to have you as a referral partner, and vice versa, right? So this is reciprocal. So think about, and this is can trip people up. So you might start with just thinking through, okay, what industries or what kinds of people, what niches, what are their general, titles going to be? So who are they? And then start plugging in names or building those relationships as needed. And then former colleagues. So most people who are entrepreneurs have worked in a job at some point. And so it's really powerful to maybe go to people you have great relationships with, even if you haven't talked to them in a while, and reconnect to see if they know anybody, because they're already going to be able to speak to your work ethic and your personality and your gifts. So don't leave them out just because you're in a new field. Okay. Good. So that's referrals. Let me take a quick sip here. All right, social media. Social media. Social media. This is a fun one. And most people have sort of a love-hate relationship with social media. It's a really great tool. Okay. So social media platforms are just tools that you can use to share your mission and to strengthen relationships. You can leverage, I just want you to know, if you don't have a big following on social media, I don't want you to feel like you can't really use it, because you can use social media before you have an audience, and then also to build that audience at the same time. So you're going to be creating warm leads, because within social media, you have the opportunity to, again, show up as yourself, your true self, right? Your genuine, authentic self, and share your gifts as at the same time, provide value. So I'm going to give you some tips. I used to call this the 5 C's. Don't even worry about that. We're going to talk about having a solid social media strategy. But I just want you to know, if you don't have an audience, you can absolutely build it and get really warm leads coming in at the same time. And if you have a following and it's not converting, we can absolutely turn that around as well. So how are we doing that to have a really solid social media strategy in place? Again, I've called it the 5 C's in the past, but let's just talk through these, because I don't love that name, to be completely honest. So the first is a cohesive message, right? So having an overarching message that you can share over time, that's cohesive, that isn't sort of like, oh, I'm talking about this and I'm talking about that, now I'm talking about this. Find the umbrella if you feel like there's a disconnect between the things that you talk about. Give yourself an umbrella, okay? Whether that's in your business title, or it's sort of in a succinct line that you use on, who you are, and like on Instagram, on your bio, or on your Facebook profile, or on LinkedIn, right? So give yourself an umbrella that people can see, that kind of encompasses all the things you talk about. If it tends to be like, oh, well, I have these 5 different things that I talk about, or these 3 different things. And if you have one thing, it makes it a lot easier to be cohesive, right? But even in my world, for example, I have 2 things, right? There's the spiritual aspect of things, and you could even tease human design out of that and say, then there's the human design, and then there's the concrete strategy. So there's the business building. So we have this umbrella that we put everything under, so that it feels really cohesive in the messaging. Consistency is a little trickier, because the general rhetoric out there is that you need to be posting, 3 times a day on 5 different platforms, and has to be every single day. And that's the only way that you're going to build your business on social media. And that's not really fair. And that's not really true. Does it feed the algorithms? 100%. Yes, it absolutely does. Does that mean that you're going to be drawing in your right clients? No, not necessarily. So arguably, it's more important that you are doing your version of consistency and showing up with enthusiasm and joy, and really having fun dare I say, having fun on social media rather than posting for the sake of posting, right? That goes back to the vanity metrics. That's not as important. People see through that. What's more important is that you are sharing your message in a way that lights you up rather than a way that drains you, because now this is your third post of the day and it's been 6 days and you're just tired of being on IG or whatever. So if inconsistency is your consistency, that's okay too. So find a way to create some consistency, whether you're actually there in real time or not. So if that's batch working and then scheduling things out, great. Or letting people know that you're going to be inconsistent. And that's something that I do. And if you are further along and you have a team, then you can have your team kind of plugging in things to feed the algorithm, and then allowing that gives you the space to come in just when you want to. Community. So this is either facilitating and sort of managing and bringing together a community, or being a part of a community. So not everybody is really designed or well suited to lead a community or to bring people together. That might not be something you have any interest in. That might be something that makes you really, really excited. And interacting with that community as the sort of facilitator could feel really good for you. And if that's true, find a place where you can create that community. And it could be on a social media platform, or you could take it off and you could send people a Telegram group or whatever, right? So just find a platform where you can have that dialogue, where you can share what you want to share and create a community aspect and encourage people to be part of the community rather than you just speaking at them. Um, Let that run itself, or really truly facilitate it. That's one way, or be part of a community. When I first started my business, I had no audience, but I was a member of a Facebook group that was sort of a really broad group in terms of all topics were being shared. It wasn't, anything specific to entrepreneurs by any means. And I just became a valuable member of that community, and I interacted in genuine ways, just being myself and my own personal experience. And then when I would share about my business, it lended to that sort of expertise, that authority, but also the know, like, trust factor that I had been a member of this community. And I actually built a lot of my business came in the early days, came from that Facebook group because I was in there just being myself. So character kind of builds on that in the terms of just being yourself. So if if you find yourself on social media with your professional hat and then your personal hat, in some instances that is okay, that we have a voice that's specific to our brand. However, I would say again, that soul infusion, right? You need to be you, because if you show up in a certain way, a certain visage, if you will, and then they get you in person on a Zoom call or in a session and you're completely different, that's going to really break down the barriers of trust. So always be yourself. As cliche as that sounds, it's totally true. And then calls to action. So when you're on social media, I think oftentimes it's easy to either not put a call to action at all, or to kind of throw it in there. And so it's like this, like at the very end of a post about something like, oh, link in bio, or, book a call, or just kind of this thing that's sort of randomly thrown in there. So the calls to action, let them be intentional. Not every single post needs to have a call to action. Certainly not. And the calls to action can vary. So again, if you're building community, then maybe the calls to action are asking the questions, giving them the prompts, getting them to engage, right? And then you're able to have a conversation, maybe in the comments section, maybe then it goes to DM or goes to email. Maybe then you can drop a link, right? But it's getting strategic about those calls to action, not having them all be book a call, right? But again, is this true for you? Getting the, have you ever experienced this? Comment your favorite XYZ or whatever is related to the post. Just getting that engagement on social media builds on all of these things that we're doing. It helps with that cohesive brand messaging. It helps with consistency, because even if you're not making 10 posts, but you're responding to comments, that is consistency. You're building a sense of community and they're getting to see you shine through. So they're taking action, and then again, it builds so that eventually they're going to be taking the action of booking a call. But certainly that needs to be in there as well. So the last thing we're going to talk about today is building your audience. This is really about stepping into your authority. And this can be a little bit scary, and it can also be an area where it feels like maybe nebulous. You're not really sure how to do it. So what we're essentially doing is using your expertise, right, to give people an experience of what you offer. So what does that mean? Okay, so you're giving people these little micro experiences of what you offer, whether you're teaching a class, or you're making a post, or you're sharing a blog post that you wrote, or whatever. You're giving people little glimpses of what it's like to work with you, because when you give them a sample, like at Costco, you're more likely to buy, right? When I was in product sales, we would say, put the product in their hand. That's the idea behind the Costco samples. If you sample something, or if you're holding it, it's harder to give it back. If you're sampling it, then you know that you like it and you're more likely to buy it. So there is some psychology behind this. When you're a service provider, you're often selling an intangible, right? Even if they get modules or course access, you're just selling an intangible. You're selling your expertise, your experience, right? And it might be maybe you're a massage therapist and it's not necessarily tangible, but the benefits are more tangible in that way. So as the more intangible your offer, the more important it is to give someone an experience of what you offer, because that automatically puts you into an expert or authority figure type seat, right? They see that expertise and they see what you have to offer, and it becomes more tangible to them. It builds know, like, and trust. And if you can do this in a way that is one to fewer, one to many, then you don't have to necessarily spend that time on a sales call or in a one-to-one environment in order to bring that lead into your world. So the opportunity here, my invitation for you is really to think about, what's the message you want everyone to know? What's the one thing about what you do or what you teach that everybody needs to know that they don't know? It's like you're on a mission to share this thing, right? And then you may have a few, but think about that. And a lot of times you see online, and it's a little overused and overdone these days, but you see online this whole, what could you talk about for 30 minutes without preparing? That's the kind of idea. What is your expertise? And what's that core message that you want people to know? Then we're going to give the experience using that core message, because that's repeatable and that's the thing that you want to get out there. So maybe you're speaking. So you're booking speaking gigs. Maybe you're booking podcast interviews. You're going out and just giving talks. So this could be something that webinars are a great example of this. So this is your opportunity to share an experience of you, one to fewer, one to many. Teaching is a little bit different. That's more like workshops, whereas a webinar might be teaching a class, or you're doing a speaking engagement on someone's stage or at someone's event or within their program. This is where power partners come in handy, by the way, pro tip, right? You're in a teaching setting, that's more workshop, or this is a set thing, that then a tangible result that's going to come of what you're teaching them. Not necessarily. Speaking can be more inspirational. It can be more conceptual. It could be a little bit different. But what we're looking at with teaching is, you're actually taking them through your process. That might be paid. These might be paid and these might be free, by the way. Email marketing is another great place. Again, power partners come in so well here. So this is where you have a lead magnet, for example. So that's your freebie. How are people going to get this experience of you? And then at the same time, in exchange, you're capturing their email address and growing your list. Or we're using some sort of collaboration where you're getting in front of somebody else's audience and you're growing your email list, and then giving them the experience of you consistently through email marketing. And then there's community. Are you building community, or are you in community? This is on or offline, right? So now that we're out in the world and things are essentially back to whatever the new normal is now, are you in your community? Are you meeting people in person? Are you having the opportunity to step into your authority in person, or maybe you really do prefer to be online. Personally, that's me. I do prefer to be online, and I'm able to sort of get in front of, use speaking, use teaching, use email marketing to get in front of other people's communities. So, and again, if you're great at building a community, then bringing people into the community and giving them that exclusive experience that they wouldn't get otherwise. So these are some ways that you can build your business. And again, I kept it really broad and giving you these little nuggets of how you could implement it. But it's so, so important that you are really honoring the way that you operate. Not that I'm not just sitting here telling you go out and do XYZ, because that just doesn't work. Formulaic is not a thing anymore, you guys. So we need to really be customizing each of these strategies for you specifically. So quick recap. Consistently ask for referrals if you want to receive referrals. There's so many people who say, I never get referred, but they don't have any system in place. So think about the places where you can plug in a request for referrals. If you're early enough in your business, I launched my entire business and replaced my corporate salary on referrals alone. So you can just systematically begin to reach out to people to gain some traction and momentum, to get some sales calls on the books with a high know, like, trust factor, and get those sales calls going in order to get your business off the ground. If you have an established business, I've helped 6 and 7 figure business owners implement referral systems into their existing strategies so that they get more people coming in, and it's been worth tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Social media, use that as a tool to create meaningful connections. That's what we're there for now. Some of these things, the trends, the quick scrolls, the reels, those things are enticing and they capture attention. But when you can create a meaningful connection, that stops the scroll, right? So create that meaningful connection within the content that you're creating, not creating content just to have it out there, but really meaningful content to create meaningful connection, and then make a clear call to action. And then finally, establish your authority and expertise by giving people an experience of you. So give them a taste of what you do when you're working one-to-one or inside your programs, and they're more likely to take that next step with you, because that is building the know, like, trust, similar to when a referral comes your way. Okay, so those are your 3 easy ways to get quality leads coming in. Now, if we put it all together, right, and we've got these quality leads coming in, the challenge is, let's call it out, right? You still need to be able to effectively sell once you're on that sales call. You need to have consistent outreach with a cohesive message. And we've talked about that throughout, but that's easier said than done if you don't have that consistent, that cohesive core messaging already created. And I think almost as important as any of the others, you need to know how to avoid distractions and know when it's time to layer things in, so that we're not trying too many different things at the same time. So these lead strategies will bring people in, but if we're really growing the business, we've got to take it step by step, and you have to know how to sell, and we have to have good, solid core messaging and copy. If you'd like support with any of that, as always, I am here for you. If you'd like to book a power session, these are, I have time on my calendar. They're 30-minute calls for a power session. And what we're going to do is just kind of look at your overall business strategy, identify the areas of opportunity, create a quick high-level plan for you in 30 minutes. Yes, we can do it. And then I'll recommend a program that I can support you with, either one of my programs or one-to-one, if it makes sense and if it's a good fit. If it's not, we won't bother wasting our time with that. So if you'd like to book a power session and you're looking for support and you want that support to come from me, or you want my eyes on your business, please feel free to book a power session. The link is bookwithbryn.as.me, or you can scan the QR code. I always feel like QR codes are so antiquated, but they apparently are still a thing. So I'm giving you the option here because some people will like that, or you can go bookwithbryn.as.me or shoot me an email, bryn@brynbrown.com, or whatever works for you and your learning style. Either way, I hope this was super helpful. I would love to hear your feedback, any questions that you may have. So feel free to shoot me an email. I'm always here for you. This has just been a joy to share with you, and I hope to see you again in one of the trainings soon.